Welcome back to my channel. As promised, I had a surprise for you guys. It arrived today, so I ordered a white edition Zotac Gaming 4070 Super. So this card comes with 12 gigabytes of GDDR6X RAM, and it supports DLSS3, which is Nvidia's proprietary AI solution for basically frame generation. And it supports ray tracing. So this card, the reason why I got the Nvidia card is because I definitely want the best ray tracing performance in my games. I think it makes a big difference. This is a very controversial issue. I mean, some gamers don't really care about ray tracing, right? They don't really see a difference, but I definitely see a difference. So yeah, I definitely need the Nvidia card. I know that the Nvidia cards are more expensive than the AMD cards, and a lot of people are shying away from Nvidia because of that. But for my use case and just for the fact that how I enjoy my games, I really need to have ray tracing turned on. To me, it creates ray tracing creates the immersion in the game that I enjoy. So everything just seems more real. You know, the shadows, the reflections. It just seems like you're actually in a real world environment. While with ray tracing off, the rendered content just seems not real. To me, it just seems more cartoony. I don't know how to express it, but I think that it's just the way I think about it. Like the resolution and the graphics to me look cartoony, even if they are really. It's 2024, so obviously the graphics have come a long way. But to me, they just don't look. They look flatter to me without the ray tracing on. With ray tracing, everything looks like so much more deeper. There's that 3D effect is even more pronounced with the shadows and It's true with the world, right? We live in a world with shadows, with lighting. I mean, even in this video, you see the shadow here on the box, right? So without these things, our brain and our eyes we're already like, what's the word? We're trained to recognize these things. We don't even think about it when we see shadows, when we see reflections, when we see things like this, because what they do is they help us recognize things in 3D. So like a shadow actually, or a reflection, helps you actually, your brain recognize that this thing is three-dimensional even. Yeah. Without that, it kind of reduces that effect. For example, any of you know anything about graphic design? When you use like Photoshop or any kind of graphic design software, when you're designing things, you can to kind of create a more 3D effect. You create what's called a drop shadow, right? So it makes let's say you're creating a logo. If you create a drop shadow with the logo, it makes the logo look like it's coming towards you. The effect becomes more 3D like. Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. It's like shadows and reflections and just everything that ray tracing provides, lighting and effects, provides that realism that you get with the real world. And this is what I want in my games. I want my games to reflect what the real world offers. Because if you don't have that, it really lowers the immersion effect. Like when I'm playing like let's say an old game, like a really old game, like your Nintendo games because I'm also into like retro gaming, and you're playing like an old Mario Brothers game, right? Or you're playing like Sonic the Hedgehog. It's not immersive. It's fun, but it's cartoony, right? It's just not that, like, I don't feel like I'm part of the game. I just feel like I'm playing a game that's I'm controlling this animated character, right? But like when I'm playing Skyrim or something newer, I feel. So, by the way, so I'm gonna mention Skyrim a lot because Skyrim is my favorite game of all time. Okay, so I know Skyrim's like an old game now. I mean, came out in 2011, obviously, like over a decade ago. But I think Skyrim's a good example here, where when I'm playing Skyrim, I'm immersed in that game. I feel like I'm in that game. Like that game, the things I go through, the storylines and the side quests and the NPCs, like just basically everything I'm doing in that game, I'm very immersed in it. And that game doesn't even have the greatest graphics in the world, right? Especially nowadays. But that game made it. The immersion effect from that game was more than the graphics, right? So obviously, games can use other ways to immerse yourself, the player in the game. Like the storyline could be very immersive, right? The music. Like I think Skyrim. One of the great things about Skyrim is that the music was amazing. So like it really immersed you. Really felt like you were in that world. The music really helped provide immersion too. Graphically it was good, but it wasn't like the greatest graphical game. But nowadays the newer games and even Skyrim, modded Skyrim now, you have ray tracing on, and it just looks so amazing, compared to what it looked like back then when it first came out, right? So yeah, I want that experience. I want to like play Skyrim again with like ultra settings and like all the ray tracing on and all the mods, the best mods on, and play it at like a very high level or high FPS rate. So this card is kind of like a very, for Nvidia RTX card, this card is like the sweet spot card. I watched a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of other reviewers, recommending this card and basically saying that this card is like kind of the sweet spot card for Nvidia. Obviously, this card is around $600. I think it's retailing right now for around $600. This white version on eBay is selling for like $650, I think, around. You can get this card at Newegg for around $650 because it's the white version. The black version of this card, the generic black version, is even cheaper. I think it comes in at like $600 even, or maybe even you can get it for maybe even like a high $580 or something like that, $580 or $590. I got this card for a really good deal. I got this card for under $600. Yeah, so in Taiwan, I'm not sure you guys know this, but I'm just gonna give you some information about Taiwan. In Taiwan, certain brands have better discounts. So I noticed that Zotac and like MSI, are cheaper in Taiwan. They go on sale in Taiwan more often. And it's pretty ironic because the Taiwanese brands, so Asus and Gigabyte, they go on sale less often in Taiwan. But in the US, that's a different story. In the US, all these brands go on sale randomly, right? But in Taiwan, Asus and Gigabyte, they are Taiwanese companies, so they often do not go on sale in Taiwan. It's a running joke in Taiwan where the Taiwanese people cannot even buy their own GPUs first. They're first exported to other countries, especially the US, and then we have to kind of re-import them back because, for example, if we buy a car from Amazon and ship it back to Taiwan, that actually might save us money instead of buying it from a retailer in Taiwan, because there's, I think, some kind of like tariff or VAT tax basically that prevents the local Taiwanese people from getting these GPUs and these computer PC components for a cheap price. Like basically we have to pay like a surcharge kind of thing on top of what the retail price is. So the retail price is usually what the US market pays. Like the US market is it's just a great market for electronics. Like, people from the U.S. Some people don't know how lucky they are or how fortunate they are to be able to buy these things at the retail price even. Like in many countries, the retail price is actually higher than the U.S. retail price. Yeah, and that's true in Taiwan too. Now, not everything in Taiwan is more expensive than the U.S., right? I noticed that before the pandemic, Taiwan was like at least 20% more expensive than the U.S. Maybe even more than that. But I noticed that after the pandemic, maybe some laws changed or got passed, but like I feel like the electronics and especially PC components have actually been far more competitive with US prices. So I don't know why that is, but it seems like there's much more parity nowadays, and that's a good thing for obviously everyone because at least people internationally don't need to be paying so much more for these products, right? It's just kind of strange, but yeah, I mean a lot of this it depends on the laws in your country and their tariff rates, tax rates on products and things like that. So this is, I'm not gonna unbox it. I'm just gonna show you the outside of the box. So this thing's so tiny. It's like, I believe 28 centimeters long, and it's super light. So give you a good look at the back. I think it's quite a nice, it's nice packaging. It's actually pretty light. Like, let me see. Let me first measure it for you. Hold on one second. Grab the tape measure. So I'm doing this with one hand. So we're at 28 centimeters. Sorry, this is upside down. As you can see, it's 28 centimeters long. So this is the box length. So the card cannot be longer than 28 centimeters, right? That means the card is even shorter than that, which is pretty awesome. This can fit into a lot of cases. This card, for sure. I'm not sure how long the card is. I think this card could be as short as 23 centimeters. Let's see if it says in the back. No, it doesn't say. Yeah, I think I read somewhere that this card is like, so it's anywhere between 23 and 28. I don't think it can be 28 because the whole box is 28, right? So let's do a weight. Let's do a weight. Let's do a scale test. So I have this like scale here. I'm gonna get it to turn on. Okay, so right now it says 0 kg. Let's put the card on there. So how much does it weigh? 0.3, that doesn't make sense. Hold on a second. Okay, so it weighs around a little bit over 1 kilogram. Maybe the scale's not working right. I'm not sure what's going on. Okay, yeah, it weighs 1.1 kilograms. Okay. So it's not very heavy. So 1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds. If you're in the US. So it's about 1.1 kilograms. So it's probably not even 3 pounds, like 2.5 pounds, which is really light for a graphics card. You guys might know that the 4080 and the 4090, especially the 4090, is much heavier and larger. I believe because you know, it's a much more powerful card, obviously. So especially the 4090, and it requires like just more cooling, you know, bigger fans, bigger heat sinks, things like that. Make it heavier and make it longer and bigger. Yeah, so this is a great card to have, though. I think this is pretty much. I mean, this definitely, you know, is totally enough for my needs. But I do have a surprise for you guys coming soon. But I'm gonna keep that a secret for now. But we're gonna do some. Let's just say we're gonna do some comparison testing with GPUs, and so you know, tune in next time for. Well, maybe not next time, but I will be doing some GPU comparisons in the future. But obviously, I had to first finish this build and even start unboxing this stuff. And I don't know if you noticed, my last video I had a motherboard here, and now it's gone because I just sold it. So I actually know someone who wanted. You know, basically, who's into basically what I'm into, and he contacted me and he wanted, and he noticed the board I bought, and that board is not sold in the U.S. I'm not sure if it's sold in North America at all, so he offered to buy from me, and so I sold to him. I made a little bit of money, just tiny little bit of money. For my trouble, because I had to ship it to him and, you know, do all the shipping handling stuff. He's not in Taiwan, he's in the US. So I don't have a motherboard anymore. So I basically flipped that motherboard. So I can't obviously start my build unless I buy another motherboard. So, you know, why don't, if anyone is watching this, because I have 0 subscribers, so first of all, if you like the video, please subscribe and like the video. That'll be great. And you can be my first subscriber, or my first like, which would be awesome. And you can also comment. So comment below what motherboard I should buy, because now I don't have one. And I bought that one because, first of all, it wasn't sold in the US. So I thought that's a kind of cool thing, because it's a very limited board. I mean, for the I think it's only sold in Asia actually, and it's a back connector board, so it's a stealth board. So you can your wiring goes in the back, not the front. So you can kind of do cable management and cleanly, much clean. You have a much cleaner build that way, and it's a B650E. Revision board, so that means it supports PCIe 5.0, which means that it supports the Nvidia 5090, so the next generation of cards, and AMD cards. And that board supports 7,000 Ryzen 7,000, 8,000, and 9,000 CPUs, which kind of future-proofs me for another like generation, I think. But like, you know, those are like the things about that board that's nice. And it's also, it's a white board, ATX size. So, you know, because I'm trying to do a white build, as you can see. The only thing that's not white is this PSU that's black, and obviously the SSD drive. But everything else in this build is white. And so I guess I could get another white board to keep the aesthetic the same. I mean, I pretty much should get another whiteboard. Now, do I need a back connection board? I don't, right? I can go get that board again because it's still in stock. I can still buy that board again. But now I'm thinking maybe I should just buy another board because there's new boards out. Like, so the newest AMD board is the X870 and the X870E. So that's the newest board, and I think that board, you know, it's even more, it's newer, right? So it has even more features, and it's gonna future-proof me even more down the road, maybe like 5 years, instead of 3 years down the line, I'll still be using that board. I could still be using that board. So yeah, comment down below what you recommend that I get. Like, should I get that new board, the X870E, which I'm leaning toward because it's the newest board out, although it's pricey. Like every one of those boards is like over $400 right now, I think. Like there's like any decent versions of that board. Like I'm thinking about the MSI Carbon, which is pretty nice. There's also the Tai Chi boards, which have been reviewed very highly. So the best X870E board that I saw on YouTube reviews is the ASRock. So the ASRock, it's called the Nova gaming board, something like that. And that board is sold out everywhere. Like it's being sold on eBay for like over $600 by a Japanese seller. So I guess that board is in stock in certain countries. I cannot buy that board in Taiwan for some reason, at least not right now. And it's like sold out on Newegg, it's sold out in the US. And I think that board retails for like $350 and change. So yeah, that board would be a steal right now for $400 even. You know what I'm saying? Like I would buy that in a second for $400. But I think now people are selling it for like $500-$600, yeah. And even on eBay, there's only like one left. Right now, if you go on eBay and you look on Newegg's listing, you see a board that is the Tai Chi board. The description of the board is Tai Chi in the title, but the image, the first image, the first pic in that buy it now is showing the Nova board, but then the rest of the photos show the Tai Chi board. So the photos are wrong, and so I think that's the Tai Chi board for sale. But then people might be confused and buying it anyway, thinking that it's the Nova board. So it's the screw up. It's a screw up by Newegg. Now, maybe Newegg is doing this on purpose to try to get people to buy it and thinking that it's the Nova board, but it's actually they're gonna receive the Tai Chi board instead. And the Tai Chi board is not bad. It's a really good board, but it's totally different board. The Tai Chi board is much larger. It's an eATX board. It's a larger board. And the ASRock Nova board, gaming Nova board, is an ATX board. So it's a smaller board. But it has like really good features. Like it's really like, I think the PCB thickness is like 8 or 10 or something layers. Your standard, pretty decent board is like 6 layers, I think, but like you know, now it's like the better boards are like 8 layers or above even, and PCB layers. And so that board has a lot of features. It's like a really well built board. It has a lot of like, you know, M.2 slots and all that stuff, PCIe slots. Yeah, so it's a nice board. I probably wouldn't need that many slots and like, you know, all the features it provides, but like it's still, you want to buy the best board out there right now, right, for the money. And that, I believe that's the best motherboard for the AMD X870E revision. So I think that's probably the best card to get. I'm sorry, not card, motherboard to get. So, you know, I would definitely buy that board in a second if I was able to find it for a good price. But so, you know, obviously other than that board, the ASRock board, let me know what other boards, like, you know, because I'm leaning toward the MSI Carbon because that's a really good board too. I saw reviews about that, and the price is decent here. It's not like a ripoff in Taiwan, because like I said, Zotac and MSI pricing in Taiwan is pretty good, and I think it's because Zotac and MSI they're Chinese companies, like they're from China, right? They're like China companies, and I think when Chinese companies sell their products in Taiwan or just anywhere in the US or Europe, the pricing's much fair. It's a fair price. So like, you know, basically for some weird reason, when Taiwan imports things, the price is not that bad. But when Taiwan is selling their homegrown products, sometimes the pricing is really bad for some reason. I'm not sure why. Yeah. I'm not saying this is true for all products in Taiwan, but like for electronics, I feel like it's true. Or at least for computer parts. PC stuff. It seems like it's true. All right, this video is really long. I've gone over 25 minutes. Sorry about my rambling, but you know, I just have a lot to say, I guess. I know it's kind of like a bunch of rambling, but I hope you guys learned something from this video, and tune in next time as I show off a little bit more stuff I got, and like I'll start unboxing things and I'll start setting things up, and in my videos, setting up my build up, and this is gonna be a long running series, and then I'll obviously start benchmarking and testing and playing games and things like that. Okay, so tune in next time. Thank you. Have a great day.